Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified business and executive coach. I own Aspire Action Coach based here in Southwest Ohio. We're thrilled to have you join us on the channel today. I think a great story of a up and coming business in the region with really some new technology. So if you're new to the series, we encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you'll receive future messages like the great message you're going to hear from Chris Woodrey today. Chris is the owner of Xcel Calibration and Diagnostics. They really focus on calibration testing for automotive safety equipment, really a growing field with today's more modern cars. And he's going to share with you that journey. So, Chris Woodrey, we're thrilled to have you on the spotlight. Take a second, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your journey becoming an entrepreneur, a little bit about Xcel, and why automotive calibrations.
All right. So like you said, my name is Chris Woodrey, owner of Xcel Calibration Diagnostic. I started out working on cars and tractors with my grandparents and always kind of had that mechanical thing. Growing up, enjoyed it. And then got reached out to, uh, about 8 years ago from a company down in Texas that offered hey, come and do this new calibration stuff that these new cars are getting and do it in body shops. And I was like, well, that's really crazy. Something different than what I'd done previously before in the traditional mechanical setting as a technician in a dealership or an independent repair facility, and gave it a shot. And Worked for a couple companies for a few years and ended up growing them into running Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana for two separate companies doing the automotive calibration, and decided that I wanted to take care of my customers and technicians better than I was being allowed to. And my wife and I decided to start Xcel in August of 2021.
Okay. Yeah. So a little over 3 years, made that big jump, right? Going from working from somebody else, but having that expertise now doing it on your own. So that little over 3+ years now to build the team and the organization. What do you feel like separates you from others that may be doing this in the marketplace? You talked about being able to take care of customers in a better way. Maybe tell us more about that.
Taking care of the customers, it comes down to, we work with body shops pretty much directly, and very few of them are actually like dealer level body shops where they're only working on one specific branded car. So we have all the different brands of cars coming into these body shops, and all the different manufacturers have independent tooling that goes with each manufacturer. So a lot of our competition will give like an aftermarket scan tool to their technicians, and they go out and they use this one tool that works on everything, but it doesn't do the best quality of a job on the cars. So one of the things that sets us apart is using the dealer level tooling and equipment on the cars. No matter what we run into. So we equip all of our technicians with the manufacturer's tooling that is designed for those vehicles and take it straight to those cars instead of the cars having to go back to a dealer out of the body shop.
Okay, so really being focused down even to the different manufacturer levels. So
Yeah.
is there a complexity that's added that you've had to learn how to manage, whether that's the tools, your inventory, or training for your folks?
Yeah, a lot. So each manufacturer has a subscription that you have to buy from them, and a lot of them have their own interfaces that you have to have. And then you can't have certain manufacturers' programs on the same computer as another. So guys could have, depending on which product or which manufacturers they have capabilities of on their vans, they could have up to four different, or actually five different computers just because all of the manufacturer software doesn't play well together. So you got subscriptions for all the different manufacturers, the tools for all the manufacturers, or the actual interfaces to talk to the cars, and then you have the software on different computers to talk with the different brands of vehicles.
Okay, great. Well, a lot of complexity to learn to juggle there. So
Yeah.
maybe take a second, kind of share with the audience kind of what geographies you currently play in, right? And then how have you been able to grow within those markets? What have been kind of your key marketing and growth strategies?
So we operate in basically greater Cincinnati area, all throughout the 275 loop. So northern Kentucky, southeastern Indiana, and then all of Cincinnati. We operate all the way up in Dayton up to Sydney, Ohio. Um, and then we have a couple guys over in Indianapolis as well. So we're we just started Indy a couple of years ago. It's doing pretty well. But to how we've grown is really just by word of mouth. We haven't had to do a whole lot of marketing. We make sure that we pride ourselves in our work and doing it correctly and taking care of our customers the best we can. And that has done great for us and getting new. I mean, we get phone calls all the time. Hey, got this car that nobody else can figure out, and I talked to so and so from this body shop, and they said you were the guys to do it.
Okay. Some of the best marketing you can get there, right? When you
Yeah.
become known as the experts in that. Maybe also take because I think you're been launching your first brick and mortar location. Maybe talk through how that fits in with your strategy and also how kind of a more mobile approach has been key to you as well.
Yeah, the mobile's good for a lot of things. For the larger shops that have space to do the calibrations we need, because sometimes you need up to 30 feet in front of the car that's free and clear and level and nothing else in the way. And if you've ever been in a body shop, that's hard to find to get that much clear space. So we've been able to take care of a lot of the larger shops with the mobile solution and coming to them and taking care of their needs. But the smaller shops that don't have the adequate space to do those calibrations, we weren't able to do business with them. So one of the things, once we got to the point where we really were out of growth in the larger shops, it was time to focus on, okay, how do we keep growing? We got to figure out how we're going to cater to these smaller shops, and creating a place where they can bring their vehicles seems to be the answer. So that's what we're working on now.
Okay. So is that location live or is it soon to be fully launched?
It is live. We are got a few guys training. We're kind of in a soft rollout stage, I would say. I mean, really, for it to be fully operational, we probably need about 3 or 4 more personnel to run it to be, at its peak. But we are, slowly gearing it up. Going from having guys mobile to having the logistics issue of how you get cars here and back, and if they're drivable or not, and towing and getting that figured out. We want to do it slowly so we can figure out the best way to do it and make it as smooth as possible for our customers.
Great. Well, hey, you're 3.5 years in now on this. So every journey for an entrepreneur has some twists and turns, some hills and some valleys that we learn through. So maybe share with us a past challenge that you've had. How'd you overcome it, and what did you learn from that?
Man, a past challenge. I mean, really moving from being a technician, um, going in from the technician to kind of the owner role, moving away from being hands-on and in control of everything going on in the transaction with the customers and how things were done. And then, being able to have the faith in someone else's ability to continue on the same, level of customer service and make sure everything was done like I would have done it. I'd say that was probably one of the biggest challenges. And then, And then that moving into that, just realizing that I can't do everything and I have to believe or trust in other people that they will, get the job done, to a
Okay.
satisfactory level.
So what have you had to do different than based on that learning to get to that level of trust or to get to where you have that confidence that somebody else is going to take as good a care as you would have?
Oh, done differently. I don't know that I have done anything differently. It's just learning how to trust or learning how to be okay with that and making sure that, I check in with the guys and the customers and make sure that things are going well. And if they're not, then figuring out how do we adjust that? How do we address it to make sure we're back on track to where things are getting done the way that, I would like to see them done.
So kind of now flipping that coin, that's been a past challenge that you've kind of learned your way through, right? What's out in front of you right now? What's the challenge or two that you and the team are trying to solve?
Oh man, going from the small, three, four guy comfortable business to where, the first, three, four guys we hired, were all buddies, friends. We all knew each other. We all felt like we could, depend on each other, and we didn't have to worry about what might be um, man, what somebody might do per se. So then to come on and now we're to the point where we got, 10, 12 people. We've got guys that weren't necessarily in our network and everything. And then with the building, trying to find, three, four more people. How do we go from that small business where we don't really have to have a lot of procedures in place and, everything labeled in black and white to now where it's the spot where, okay, we need to get standard operating procedures in place. We need to get, you know, all the policies and stuff that make sure that we have a way to gauge and track everyone's performance.
Okay. Yes, the those common challenges of scaling, right? As you've had
Yes.
some nice growth. That's good. So that leads right in, kind of building out the team. So what have you've done quite a bit of hiring, it sounds like, and a lot of growth, starting from a nucleus of probably folks you already had great relationships to start with. So
Mhm.
how you've been able to find and attract, new techs, new talent into your team, and how you've been able to keep them.
I'd say part of it comes back to the same way that we've got customers.
Mhm.
I've prided myself on taking good care of our technicians. So our technicians have, talked about how happy they are with, their employment with us. And the word has kind of spread to people that, they weren't necessarily super close with. But we had people calling us going, hey, I heard that, so and so works for you. Hey, give me a call whenever you guys, have an opening again. I'd like to talk to you.
Okay.
So I think the only time we've actually ever ran a posting for a job was for when we started Indianapolis, because we had zero networking connections over there. And that's for Cincinnati and Dayton, we have never hired anyone off of a job posting. It's all been through networking or people reaching out to us going, hey, we heard that, so and so works for you and we would like to be a part of your team.
Okay. That's great. A lot of other business owners be jealous. They hear that, by the way. So I'm curious, how do you see the team changing over time? You've had this amount of growth. What do you see in the future in terms of, you know, can you scale up or other types of skills you're going to need to bring into the business as you grow?
I mean, we're getting to the point now where I think the growth by just the natural growth of it is probably going to slow just because of we're I don't know how much more we can go with that. So I think we're going to have to push a lot harder, push into areas where we may have competition there, that we're going to have to actually sell ourselves more. So I think bringing in somebody, potentially as a marketing person or with the building, bringing in somebody as like an office manager to help run the more office related, work with that is probably going to be stuff that we're going to have to move into where we may not have the networking that we had with the technicians, where we're going to have to go back to that traditional job posting type search to find that kind of talent.
So what's a day look like for you? What tends to be your focus as the owner then?
So my day, since the building has been opened, um, I've been at the building, which is different for me from being able to be out and in the shops and checking on the guys and being in a different facility every day. Um, so it's been in the building. I wear all the hats right now. So we're answering phone calls, we're scheduling, we're taking payments from customers. I'm juggling that with the cars that are getting dropped off at the shop that need, now that we're doing mechanical work and alignments along with our calibrations. So I can be doing any of that at any time throughout the day, as we're trying to get everything geared up and new talent brought on.
All right, yeah, so still juggling so many things, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, where do you see the business going in for here? I mean, what's your kind of dream vision for the business? You think, I don't know, 3, 5 years down the road, where would you like to be?
Yeah, I mean, I would really just like to capitalize on the areas that I'm in. I got 4 kids at home, and in the previous companies I worked for, doing all of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, I was staying in hotels 3 and 4 nights a week. So that's not something I want to be doing again. Met a lot of cool people doing that, and it was, a great learning experience. But I think capitalizing on the areas we have and making sure that um, we're providing our service the best that we can, and everybody's doing the best job that they can. Figuring out this brick and mortar and getting it up to speed, recreating that, at least one more time in Dayton and then another in Indy, and then seeing as these cars with the ADAS systems become more and more prevalent, in 2020, now there's like 50% of the cars in body shops have one of these systems that need calibrated on it. In 2025, the government's mandated that all cars will have some sort of ADAS safety system on them. So, in 3 to 5 years, we could have 80, 90, 100% of the vehicles in a body shop need some sort of calibration. So the chance that this becomes much bigger than it is, or the need for it becomes greater,
Yeah.
is almost certain.
Yeah, it's all a naturally growing, rapidly growing market, right?
Yeah,
And it's mandated to grow pretty much.
yeah.
That's beautiful, right? Do you see yourself adding more different types of services, or it's continuing to stay focused?
I mean, we have kind of added more services with the brick and mortar location, because before we did very little mechanical work. We were not able to do alignments or wheels and tires. And we have that opportunity now, to give or we have the ability to give our customers that opportunity now, because they have been asking, hey, you guys do this calibration stuff, but we're having trouble finding quality shops to do our alignments for the collisions, because collision alignments are more involved than just a traditional, hey, get new tires put on your car and have your steering wheel straightened out or make sure everything's good. They're a lot more in depth than that, depending on what components were replaced. So I think taking on those more challenging mechanical repairs is something that's going to help us stand out. A lot of our competitors come in and they set up a building and they just do calibrations. So we're trying to make it to where they can make one call, and we can take care of their mechanical, we can take care of their wheels and tires, we can take care of their alignments and their calibrations and get that all done with one phone call and one visit to us and they get their car back and it's ready to go.
Okay, great. Hey, thank you for sharing kind of those insights. So what 3.5+ years in now, obviously you brought a lot of expertise in the industry with you coming into this. What do you think have been your keys to success so far?
Uh,
Or
Really,
you
just
know now that you wish you knew then. This is another way to think about that.
yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of stuck with, the same reasons that I went out on my own, because I wasn't able to take care of my technicians the way I wanted to, and I wasn't able to take care of my customers the way I wanted to. And I know it kind of goes against a lot of what people say, where they say, the customers first. Well, I want to put my technicians first because if I take care of my technicians and my employees, they're going to take care of the customer, and I don't have to worry about putting the customer first because if they're happy and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, our customers are going to be happy and they're going to be happy with our services. So that's, the main reason that I went out on my own, and I think it's served us pretty well.
And stick to it for sure. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what are the best ways for folks that they want to learn more about what Excel does and or to connect with you?
So we have a website. It's www.excelcd.com. There's a lot of information on there, just kind of oversight of what we do. Um, we do have a Facebook page. I try to stay on top of updating that, but I do not have a social media manager or marketing person of any kind for that. So it probably has been a few weeks since we posted anything. I need to get back on top of that. But there's some stuff in there that shows what we've done or types of repairs we've done, the one-offs kind of stuff. But yeah, those would be the two ways to learn more or kind of keep track of what we're doing.
So check out on the website and then as well as on Facebook and I anticipate you'll be even more active there in the future. So that's a balancing act many of us have.
Yeah.
So Chris, as we wrap up here today, what are you inspired by today?
I mean, really, it just comes down to probably what keeps me going and keep me inspired is my family. Making sure that I'm doing the best I can every day to make sure that they can have the best every day that they can have. Um, Going home and open up the door and these long days, in the shop now, and I walk in the door and I got, four kids fighting me, and I tell them no, mommy gets the first hug, but I got four of them trying to drag me down to get me to get the claim the first hug. So it's that every day that keeps me going.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes it rewarding and it is a great reminder of the mission for all the hard work and that you've put in there. So, well, Chris, thank you for sharing your story. Exciting growth trend that you're building there with your team with Xcel Calibration and Diagnostic. And we appreciate you taking the time out to share your story.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. And to our listeners, I encourage you to go check them out. You can also connect with Chris on LinkedIn as well. And now you have some great insights because more and more of us, when our cars have repair needs, are going to need the expert services. So we maintain the safety equipment that's now so vital to our cars. So again, to our viewers, we're thrilled to have you join us. I encourage you to hit the like button. That helps us with getting the message out, but also hit the sign up and subscribe to the series as well, so you can receive future messages like you heard from Chris here today. So with that, Chris, we thank you and to all our viewers. We hope you have a terrific day.